Hello everyone, and welcome to the most exciting no damage run of all. This has been a long time coming. It's been about 8 months now, but I can finally put this video up and say that we have beaten the entire game without taking any damage. So this is super exciting for me, and it's cool to put up an Isaac video, character where it all began, before Wrath of the Lamb came out, before anybody ever beat Mom. The first character you play with is Isaac. Granted, you didn't have the D6, but I'm going to go through this no damage run with you here. This is very exciting. This is the first time that I've watched it since it was accomplished. And I just want to go over the rules that I was playing under. That I set myself. These are somewhat arbitrary, but this was the no damage run that I was going for. So, obviously you see me walking to the curse room here. The no damage criteria that I'm playing under is to take no damage from enemies. That is to say, damage from things like curse rooms, blood banks, demon judgments, deals with the devil, and anything else I'm forgetting like that are acceptable. Now, the things that are a little trickier to decide are, say, spacebar items where you take damage, but I don't think I use any of those in the run, so I don't think it's going to matter. Running into spikes or fire accidentally is absolutely not allowed. Therefore, running into spikes or fire for any reason, I considered banned under this criteria. So let's start off here. We've got Little Gish. Little Gish is a good item. It's a great item in a vanilla run or a regular run. In a no damage run, it can be a little tricky because certain enemies that you're used to dodging based on a certain pattern of movement can become trickier to dodge if they're slowed down at a weird time. Now, usually in a regular run where you're willing to take a couple of hits of damage anyway, this is not a big deal because overall you'll end up killing a bunch of enemies without taking any damage, and you might get hit by one. Usually it's an enemy that jumps, like Monstro or Pin. No, not Pin. Monstro or, I forget the name of that boss. Maybe it is Pin. Anyway, any boss that kind of leaps up, if he's slowed by Gish and you didn't really realize it, he's not going to move across the map. He's just going to stay put. So we're on the Cell Part 2. This is exciting, but nothing's really happened so far. I've been doing these no damage runs for around 8 months now, and so I'm so used to just doing the first couple of floors without taking damage that, just strolling along, la-di-da. Whether or not to take Whore of Babylon is kind of tricky in a no damage run, I think. It provides extra speed, which is very important in kind of any necessary dodging, but more important than you might think before you try this challenge in getting through every single floor without taking a hit of damage. But it does increase your hitbox massively. And what it also does is it increases your speed without letting you kind of like decide. So if you end up getting a couple of items that give you a speed upgrade anyway, like Lord of the Pit and the Mark or something, and then Whore of Babylon comes out, you might be a little too fast for your own good, and I think that's difficult to deal with too. I took it though because it's a damage upgrade, it's a damage increase, and ultimately that's the most important for taking out any room that you walk into. So I haven't put up a no damage video in a long time. The last one I put up was like over a month ago, I think. Okay, Guppy's Paw. This is awesome. This is like the best item you can find in a curse room. I picked up Guppy's Paw, I put it down, and I didn't re-roll it. And so I was about to say, the most important thing that I've found, besides damage upgrades, besides anything, for trying to complete these no damage runs, is becoming Guppy. The damage increase that you get is off the charts, and it allows you to fly. Basically, that isn't to say that I haven't done a bunch of successful challenge runs without becoming Guppy, but it was the thing that I found was most helpful. So meat is a damage upgrade, unlike how you usually feel about meat, which is super excited that it's a health upgrade and a damage upgrade. Here we actually didn't want the health upgrade because it lost us Horror of Babylon. We don't really care about health except using it for deals with the devil. So I probably didn't re-roll that Guppy's Paw because I wanted to make sure that I had a re-roll available for a potential deal with the devil. But usually, getting something like Guppy's Paw or Guppy's Head in the curse room is as good as you can get on a run like this. Because you can pick it up, put it down, re-roll it, and get a new deal with the devil item. So, Cellar Part 2, things are going along pretty well. Demon Baby, another tricky pickup, just like Gish. 95% of the time he helps you out. Really good at taking out flies that are coming towards you. Any enemy that's coming at you from a weird angle, he's your man. And in a normal run, he's going to help you out, 95% of the time, and then occasionally you might get hit because he'll blow up a bomb fly when it's a little too close to you or something like that. However, in this run, because you can't take a hit of damage, it can be really tricky to decide whether or not to pick him up. I did because, I don't know, I felt like it. Sad Onion from a gold chest when we didn't have a bomb but had a tower card. That is key. That's the kind of thing that we need for this no damage run. Alright, I'm super excited. That's a cool, I found that's a cool way to use the tower card in general. Whether or not you're trying a challenge run like this. This is also a terrible room to have Demon Baby in because kind of he's shooting at these guys and who knows where they're going to explode. But if you use the tower card when you're standing right next to an open doorway in a room that you've already done, you can kind of see once the bombs pop up but before they explode whether or not they're going to explode in a way such that it's going to hurt you. And if they are, then just bail, walk out of the room. Make sure it's not a room you have to walk back through at some point. And if not, then they blow up and you get, say, the Tinted Rock like we were able to open. So, yeah, with the room with the floating heads that blow up and send the shots out, and I have Demon Baby, I generally find that if I am too careful or I notice that if I make one wrong move, they're going to blow up in the wrong way, and I try to take them out one by one with Demon Baby firing all over the place, I end up getting hit. So I basically just tanked into them and hope not to take damage. I do have one orbital, and it worked out. So no big deal. Another annoying thing is he makes it more difficult for these guys to pop up because he's shooting at them, but not a huge problem. So, I mean, if we're talking about problems that arise with this no damage run, on the caves and the catacombs, you have the rooms with kind of like the maze paths where there's gaps everywhere, like this room, and there are enemies around that you basically can't dodge if you don't have flying. If you have flying, those rooms are not a killer, but if you don't, it can be a pretty big problem. The Silkworm rooms that have kind of just the paths that you can walk on aren't as big of a deal because you can just stand still, and as long as you don't move, they won't charge at you. And so you can kind of take them out one by one. The worst are the rooms with the two floating greed heads and the two flies. The double, the I don't know what you call them. Older than the grandfather flies, the uber grandfather flies, the great grandfather flies. I guess there is a word for that. I think that room is probably, under certain circumstances, there's almost no way not to take damage. I don't want to say there's no way to take it. I consistently take damage in that room, and it ends these runs for me. But, of course, it's possible that somebody's figured out a way not to do it. So we haven't found the item room yet. We got the ladder from the shop, which is a pretty mediocre pickup because, in general, you're thinking, if this run's going to be successful, I'm almost definitely going to be able to fly at some point. And so I'd much rather have, the map or the compass or something like that. Blue Candle, not so much, because we really want to stick with the D6 as long as we can to maximize our chances of becoming Guppy. And as usual, walking in and out of these curse rooms, I'm fine with walking in and out of the curse room as long as it's going to leave me a half spirit heart, because if there's a deal with the devil I want to be able to take, the items even if there are two hard deal with the devil items where neither of them gives you spirit hearts, like the Pact or the Mark, as long as you have one spirit heart and at least 2 red heart containers, you can take both of those items. So we're not going to reroll our item room here because we haven't fought the boss yet, and we're going to go check out whether or not we have a deal with the devil. And basically, this is a pretty standard no damage challenge for me at this point. My extra damage is mostly coming in the form of the familiars, which is not really what you want, because I think ultimately those familiars don't help as much with the late game bosses, except for Little Gish. But we do have the Sad Onion, which is a big, tears upgrade, a big rate of fire upgrade, which is ultimately just a DPS upgrade. And we have 1 orbital, we don't have flying. I mean, at this point, it can kind of go either way. I think having done so many no damage runs, and if you've seen the videos before, which you probably haven't, that I've put up, I have taken, a couple of characters through Satan without taking damage, and at least 1 character through Isaac without taking damage. I think that was Judas that got through Isaac. So this is pretty standard. I get to pick up Guppy's head and the Pact, and what else did we pick up there? It was Guppy's head and the Pact. Oh, so this is perfect. This is where we become Guppy. Make sure to pick up the Mark so that we have 1 spirit heart first. And now we are a giant, terrifying version of Guppy. And like I was about to say before, I've had countless runs that were at this level of damage or much better, Throw in either Brimstone or Mom's Knife and some kind of safety item, which is definitely what we're going to be looking for now, like Mom's Bra or Book of Shadows, or even a lesser item like Mom's Pad, or any item that slows enemies down, the Hourglass being probably the worst of them. But I would say maybe with 1 more damage upgrade, we have enough damage to, I think, at this point, enough damage to tank the late game bosses without taking a hit, as long as we have 1 of those safety items. Now, to be honest, I don't remember what I find or what happens, so this is as exciting. Well, this is also exciting for me, and I hope it's exciting for you too. Because I've been in this position a million times, and somewhere along the way, I end up taking damage. It's just, there are so many places where you can make a mistake. There are so many rooms where you got to play spot on in order to avoid taking damage everywhere. So I guess we're going back and re-rolling the item room item, because I'm assuming, well, I've already picked up both Devil Room items, so I'm not as worried about saving a reroll for the deal with the devil. In fact, I'm not worried about it at all. And I think I'd rather reroll the item room at this point, because the only thing that I really want badly from the item room with the pickups that we've gotten is the pentagram for extra damage. Oh, no, that's not true. Jesus Juice as well. So I don't really want Nun's Habit because I don't have a way of damaging myself. But what would be very useful, and I've talked about this a lot in my earlier videos as basic no damage strategy, is the 9-volt or just the regular battery. Because the 9-volt makes the Book of Shadows, which I think is the best safety spacebar item there is, that much more useful. It means every time you use the Book of Shadows, there's only 1 room that you need to do to get it charged back up. So pick up a second cube of meat. That's basically as good as we could hope for, unless we were going to get a damage upgrade like Jesus Juice. The pills, it's like I don't want to mess with the pills. I have no interest in the pills. When I'm on a run like this and you're a viable character already, I don't really want to deal with like a speed down pill or something like that. Also, one thing I haven't mentioned is the Chariot card, which is really useful. Here's a good example of a difference between this and a normal run. Normally, you would love to pick up the Blood Bag under every circumstance. Here, I'm not going to do it because it will lose me the Whore of Babylon state, and I would worry that it would make me a little too fast. But we feel very good with the Chariot card because, you know, it's a safety item in the back of our pockets. And what I've found, it's kind of like let's break down what we need to do for the rest of the game here. You know, good dodging should allow us to get through Necropolis and the Womb, or, you know, Necropolis or the Depths and the Womb or Utero without too much trouble. We have flying, and we have the Chariot card if we need it. Assuming we don't get a ton of incredibly difficult rooms, I would say normally I should be able to plow through with this level of damage. But what we're thinking about is how to take out the the final bosses, Isaac and Blue Baby. And the best way that I've found with a setup like this, obviously it's possible that we could take them out with the damage that we have now, but Mom's Knife plus Book of Shadows is obviously perfect. Or Mom's Knife plus the Unicorn Horn or the Chariot. Now, I already re-rolled in the Unicorn Horn, unfortunately. But with the Chariot card, because the knife is still out, it allows you to do, you know, Mom's Knife level damage without taking a hit. And since we have Guppy, we're doing that much more damage while we're hitting them with Mom's Knife, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, if we picked up Mom's Knife, I would say we're set for beating the late game bosses as long as we had a safety item. So, rerolling Kamikaze, I assume. Yep. Mom's Pad, it's something that I could roll with, but ultimately, it's not going to allow me to beat the latest late game bosses. It would definitely help with all the rooms leading up to them, but because Isaac and Blue Baby would still be sending shots out, it doesn't allow you to go up and really tank against those late game bosses. So we're gonna play it a little. It's like more risky for where we currently are, and safer, anticipating that we might get beyond. It's like when I was starting these no damage runs many months ago, I was so happy to be down here anyway. I was really just thinking about, you know, can I get to the Womb? Can I get through Sheol? Because it took me a long time to beat Satan with Isaac. But now it's like, beaten Sheol with a couple of characters, beaten Isaac, beaten Mom's Heart with nearly everybody. So this is what we're looking for. So we're really looking to go all the way through to Blue Baby, which is what we did, which is super awesome. Library is about as good as it gets, because it can contain our favorite, the Book of Shadows. So this is it. I would say we're basically set. 1 or 2 more damage upgrades, and I think we really would be able to tank all the way to, all the way through Blue Baby. Where our damage is now, it's kind of hard to tell. I'd say probably couldn't get through the whole fight with just 1 Book of Shadows, but it does give us a really good chance. So I'm going to take the D6 in, because if there's a deal with the devil, I still want to be able to re-roll in case I can pick up Mom's Knife. And there are also this is the worst. See, this is a good example of a run killer where you can try to play it carefully, but kind of no matter how carefully I play, I think you're liable to get hit. Also, Gish can be a huge problem if he slows him down. You didn't realize it, and you don't know where he's landing. The bloat, the bloatiest bloat. All right, Jesus Juice is a pretty nice pickup. That is a damage increase, and we're gonna go back. Not gonna be able to re-roll the books because we want to take the Book of Shadows, and that'll require putting down the D6, but it's no big deal. And there are a bunch of things that I'm not optimizing on this run. I'm not playing every arcade to the max. I'm not playing every fortune teller to the max, although I played that one all the way down, which is pretty nice. And it helps you pick up a tarot card or whatever. Not good enough for us. We don't really care about the tarot card at the moment. But there's no particular reason for that, except that I feel like I would go insane when I'm doing this many runs if I tried to play every blood bank down to get the most money, just in case I picked up money equals power, or playing every, 3-head guy just in case I could get Skatol, which really is a useful pickup. It just doesn't make sense when you're doing so many runs. You're kind of assuming this is not going to be the run. So, in retrospect, when I'm watching, I'm thinking, play that fortune teller, you fool. But anyway, we picked up the Book of Shadows. We get to go into our secret room, hoping to pick up, I don't even know, 100 bombs maybe? Or 99 bombs. Pyro, to be specific. Pyro would be awesome. And with the Book of Shadows, we're just gonna roll along here. I generally don't play mob trap rooms. Boss trap rooms, if there's something awesome in them, like the pentagram or the compass, obviously I'll play. But it just doesn't seem worth it to me. I mean, unless that golden chest contains a damage upgrade. So this is a great example of a room that, although we were massively powerful, without the Book of Shadows, I'm not going to say that I would have taken damage, but very good chance that I would have. And now that we don't have our D6, we can't re-roll anything. We're definitely not going to pick up Holy Water, which only works if we get hit anyway, which we're not going to get hit. So, and I don't like the idea of picking it up, and I don't like the look of it, and it messes with your familiars in ways I don't understand. So we're just going to leave it alone. Now we could go to the boss room straight away, but we want to look around the floor a bit because we're so much more powerful than, relative to the difficulty of the 4, even when we're trying to take no damage, because we have the Book of Shadows. And I think I really want to check out the shop, just in case I find the 9-volt, which although it's only one item, it makes a huge difference. Or the compass. The compass makes a huge difference too. Oh my god, I forgot that we didn't have compass. Because instead of wandering around totally aimlessly on the cathedral and the chest, we're only going to be wandering around a little aimlessly on the cathedral and the chest. Also, my air conditioner came on, and I don't know if this is going to be a problem for the audio. If it is, I very much apologize. So, now that we've gotten the compass, which is, equal to the best thing that we could have hoped for, we're just going to go fight Mom and take off. I definitely know the theory behind not getting hit by the explosion from Mom's foot. I don't always trust myself unless I'm killing her when I'm shooting at the foot itself. I know that if you don't stand where the foot should stomp down, you shouldn't get hit, but I've gotten hit too many times to trust that. Small Rock is a monster pickup. We're definitely not going to take the health upgrade because it is useless to us and it'll lose us our Horror of Babylon state. We really want to pick up a 1 heart deal with the devil item so that we can get down to having no red heart containers and not worry about losing Horror of Babylon anymore. But c'est la vie, because we absolutely didn't. I'm definitely under the impression. Oh, why did I pick that up? I think I go back and go back to the blood bank to make sure that I have Horror of Babylon again, because we're not going to be able to do that once we get down to the womb, where everything causes 1 whole heart of damage. This wouldn't work, so you gotta do it now. Oh, and we can play a little more because we have the Polaroid. Not that it's gonna matter. No more shops. Getting money equals power is very unlikely. I was saying I've been under the impression for a long time. The impression that I thought was just oh so true, that you can teleport out of the mom fight, walk back in if you've done, if the game is supposed to give it to you, and get a deal with the devil that way. I even think that I've done it many, many times as I've played this game thousands of times. But, I don't know, recently I haven't gotten it. It hasn't happened for me in like 100 attempts or something, long enough that I'm starting to doubt my memory. My memory and Northern Lion repeatedly saying it and doing it all the time. Although, you know, it seems like he never gets it either. So if you know, let me know in the comments. I will trust you, dear commenters. And I think we've basically exhausted this floor, and we can just move on. As I said, been in this position many times, really looking for Mom's Knife. Mom's Knife plus that Book of Shadows is the key. Barring Mom's Knife, we're looking for some damage upgrade. Other than that, I'm trying to think of something that could help us out. So, the 9-volt is going to be pretty difficult to come across at this point. I'm trying to think if it's even possible to find the 9-volt at this point. Like, if it's in the... You can't get it from a golden chest. I don't know if a Judgment can pay out with it. This is a terrifying room without the Book of Shadows. It's possible without the Book of Shadows. But you kind of... With the flies blowing up those bullet flies everywhere, it's difficult to escape their wrath of the Lamb. And we don't need to go to the library because we already have the Book of Shadows. It's not charged, which is horrifying, obviously. Luckily, we get a very easy room, and we get it charged up. Really don't want to use that Chariot card yet. Just want to save it as long as possible, but this is the most aggravating thing about these runs. You want to save the Chariot card. You also want to save the Book of Shadows, just in case the next room you walk into is even worse than the one that you just used it on, and it ends your run. So one of the things that I find most difficult is using the Book of Shadows as much as I should be using it. Instead, I end up saving it and getting hit on rooms that I really should have protected myself against. But so far, so good. This is a fairly easy boss fight, although I think... Oh, good, deal with the devil. Hold that thought. Let's see, not opening the crate. I don't know, just want to go check it out. Can't re-roll these items, which is a shame, but we can take one. What are we going to take? In fact, we can take both. We don't really need health for anything. And I think maybe this also wouldn't do damage to me if I picked it up. I don't know. I guess I decided not to get the Parasite, possibly because stray shots can be a problem if you're trying to control where you're shooting. Make sure you don't blow up any bomb flies you don't want to blow up, or something of that nature. So we're just going to go down to the next floor. And we do have a curse room and a boss trap room, which could be helpful potentially. And yeah, so now that I think about it, as I was saying before, I don't think we can really get the 9-volt anymore, like under any circumstance. Maybe a Judgment can give it to you, but I feel like there needs to be a shop on the floor that you're playing him on for him to give you a shop, an item from the shop pool. But correct me if I'm wrong. The quarter, which would have been a perfect reroll if we had a D6 with plenty of reroll opportunities on this floor. But oh well. Range upgrade, I'm not interested in. It's not worth taking the risk. Oh yeah, that was me checking out my range. It's not the greatest range in the world, but I think it'll reach Isaac and Blue Baby if I'm standing on the wall, and that's really all I care about at this point. And I think before I walk into each room, I'm trying to remind myself to pay attention and make sure that I, remember to use the Book of Shadows, because when you're really powerful, you can be rolling along even this late and forget that the first moment in the room, the enemies aren't moving for, I don't know how long it is. It's like 1 second. And it does give you enough time to pop the Book of Shadows or whatever spacebar item you have before anything happens. Now that can be a problem for you if it's an item like Book of Belial that stops your movement. And I think for a little longer than the amount of time that usually, or this happens to me if I'm fighting somebody like Pestilence and I pop the Book of Belial as soon as I can get into the room. Oftentimes that bomb that Pestilence throws, I can't seem to get away from. So I always make sure to remind myself to move and wait for him to shoot his first bomb before I pop something like the Book of Belial, if I'm playing as Judas. But to get back to the present, or my past present, we are fighting Mom's Heart, which obviously was no big deal. Success, my little dance around, my tiny little dance around success, although a lot more to come, so and not getting too comfortable. definitely didn't want to use the Book of Shadows because we were so powerful on the Mom's Heart fight, and I think the average Cathedral room is honestly just as difficult, if not more difficult, to not take any damage on than the Mom's Heart fight. So very glad that we didn't have to use it there. Getting very easy rooms. This room is, it's not as easy as it comes, but it's pretty close. This one's a little trickier, but once you take out that guy in the bottom right, everything kind of comes into place. Got to make sure that those bigger, nastier flies don't get at you. More flies is useless. And, with the compass, okay, so let's talk about this for a second. I didn't want to use the Book of Shadows because I knew I had to use it for Isaac, so I popped the Chariot card. In retrospect, I think it was an interesting decision. I'm not sure it was necessarily the best. So we used the Book of Shadows. We got about a little more than halfway down, but now it's just, now it's all on me. Dodging. And I think the first phase is definitely the hardest for taking no damage. And as long as you can really get a bunch of shots in there. Okay, so that fight went extremely well. And it gives us a sense of what we need for the Cathedral, or excuse me, for the chest. I don't want to go charge up the Book of Shadows because I'm too terrified. And, oh god, Dr. Fetus. I forgot that Dr. Fetus was here. An interesting idea would be if you have the Book of Shadows charged up for the Blue Baby fight to pick up Dr. Fetus right before. It's terrible before that because, it's almost impossible not to take damage while you're using it. This room is terrifying. But I don't think that I do. I think I forgot about it, honestly, because it does a ton of damage. Well, we'll see. You can let me know what you think. This is big. I have not been in this situation that many times. I have been here maybe 4 or 5 times in all of my no damage attempts. That is to say, got up to the Cathedral, no damage taken throughout the whole game, ready to do it, whether or not I had the Book of Shadows in hand. We do have the compass, so we know where to go. This was the wrong way, obviously. And it's going to be charged up. This is actually, I think, a terrible room. I have a hard time dodging those feet when they pop down. Now we have the Book of Shadows charged, which is very, very useful. God, the bloat. And I cannot tell you how many times, I'm so glad that I popped the Book of Shadows there, how many times I dodge into the top left corner without remembering that guy always goes into the top left corner right in the beginning of the fight. I don't know why my instinct tells me that would be the safest place to go, but I consistently take damage there, so watching myself pop the Book of Shadows is excellent. Okay, a couple of Gertie fights here. This is very lucky as well, because with the amount of damage we have, Gertie basically doesn't have time to do anything. Book of Shadows is charged. We at least know where to go, although it looks like it's a long path. And at this point, we were really hoping to get a damage upgrade from those chests, which we kind of did, but, a regular damage upgrade, because judging from how far we got in the Isaac fight, obviously we're not going to be able to kill Blue Baby in one Book of Shadows round. So I think at this point, we're just thinking, fuck it, time to dodge, This room is... This is a good example of a room that without the Book of Shadows, it's of course it's possible not to take damage, but I predict I would have taken a hit. And now, got to do 2 more rooms. Bloat, classic. Now that I watch those things, maybe they don't always go up into the top left corner, but they go up into the top left corner enough that I oftentimes get hit up there. And 3 Lokis. 3 Lokis seems like it should be a terrifying room for a no damage run, but I don't know. I have a history of not getting hit by Lokis. That bomb fly definitely could have blown up right in my face. I don't know what I was thinking. If there had been a couple more of my flies around me to blow it up, I think that would have been the end of the run. But fortune smiled upon us. We have the Book of Shadows. 2 more rooms. Really don't want to use the Book of Shadows until we get to the boss at this point. Because now I'm thinking, you know, well, God, I did have to use it. Oh, terrifying. I think now I'm thinking, you know, we're not going to get another damage upgrade. We're going to have to beat Blue Baby by dodging the second half of the fight, which is perfectly doable. And I have done it many times, but I think the odds are well against us. So we're going to, can't even clear out this last room. We got to go fight 2 more rooms, because obviously there's no way we're doing the Blue Baby fight without Book of Shadows charge. And we could have done that Loki fight like we did the first one, except that red bombfly, the bullet bombfly got sent out. And I think that's what I was really worried about, taking damage from. Regular chests are awesome. Dead Bird is maybe the worst pickup I could think of. No, it's not the worst, because it just effectively wouldn't do anything for us, because we're not going to take any damage. If it came out, then it would be terrible, because it would make Blue Baby spam shots at us. We do get a tarot card from this fight, which is really big. Justice. Thank you for the bomb, key, and penny. I don't even know why I pick up the pill. I'm definitely not going to use it. And at this point, you know, I'm thinking we're so close. Might as well just look for the secret room in case there's some magical item in there. I'm not even sure what would be in there that I would want. But personally, I think I'm just stalling, not wanting to take the plunge. Oh, we found it. What do we got? 9 cents. Gonna make the difference. Here we go, baby. You know, I guess there could be a fortune teller in there, which would give us some sweet tarot card, or it could give us something other than the Polaroid, which is useless to us. If this was a regular run, obviously, it would be amazing. Oh my God, what are you thinking, me? Past me is going into more rooms? I guess I'm thinking I don't have a good chance unless I find something else. I really don't want to go in there. But I'm pretty sure I chicken out. So that one room was just a last-ditch attempt to get a golden chest that would give us some amazing damage upgrade or something. So this is it. This is the moment of truth. little pause and prayer, and dodge and commence. All right, you know, one thing I could do is wait a little longer to use the Book of Shadows, but I'm too terrified about getting hit. And I gotta say, as long as you get through that first phase, I think your odds go way up of not taking any damage. Third phase, you get this little, as long as you don't get hit from the light, and the homing shots, oh my God, it's so close. Can't even watch. Could you imagine if I got hit right here? All right, that's it. Oh my God, that's the entire game. This is a great. You know, I'm very happy I was able to do this just before Rebirth comes out. It feels like it puts the cap on this game for me. I may continue to do no damage runs, although I'll probably be trying to go all the way through Blue Baby at this point, so it's going to be pretty difficult. And thank you for watching. This is awesome. I'm super excited to watch it. I hope you had a good time. I feel like I can, you know, feel a little satisfied with the effort I've put into this challenge now. And again, I encourage you to go out and try it too. And I look forward to playing some Rebirth. You know, getting into the swing of things. All right, take it easy. I'll see you next time.